Listen carefully, my friend. This story will touch your heart, make you feel deep emotions, and maybe even bring tears to your eyes. But in the end, it will fill you with hope, love, and a new way of thinking about life. So, sit back, listen completely, and let this story take you on a journey of pain, change, and a beautiful new life. The rain poured down heavily, washing away the dust from the streets. A small boy, no older than 10, sat under an old, broken bus stop, hugging his knees. His clothes were torn, his face covered in dirt, and his eyes, oh, his eyes, were filled with a pain that no child should ever have. He had no name, at least not one he remembered. People called him different things, some kind, some cruel. But to himself, he was just me. The world had not been kind to him. He had no parents, no home, no warm bed to sleep in. Every day, he begged for food, sometimes getting a piece of bread, sometimes getting nothing at all. The nights were the hardest. The cold would bite into his skin, and hunger would whisper cruel words in his ears. One day, as he sat near a bakery, watching people buy warm, soft bread, an old man with kind eyes noticed him. The man was dressed in simple clothes, but his face carried wisdom and kindness. He walked up to the boy and held out a small bun. "Here, eat," the man said, his voice warm like a soft blanket. The boy looked at him, unsure. People didn't just give things for free. They always wanted something in return. But his hunger was stronger than his fear. He grabbed the bun and ate it quickly, his stomach crying in relief. The man smiled. "What is your name?" The boy hesitated. I don't know." The old man nodded, as if he understood. "Then, I will call you Ariv. It means peace. Would you like that?" The boy swallowed hard. A name. He had never had a name before. Something in his chest ached, but it felt good. "Yes," he whispered. Ariv. From that day, Ariv's life changed. The old man, whose name was Kieran, took him to a small but warm house. It wasn't big, but it smelled of fresh food and safety. For the first time, Ariv had a bed, a pillow, a blanket. He had never felt anything so soft before. But more than the house, more than the food, it was the feeling of being cared for that shook him the most. Kieran didn't treat him like a beggar or a problem. He treated him like a son. Days turned into weeks. Weeks turned into months. Ariv learned to read, to write, to dream. One day, as he sat on the porch, watching the sun set, he turned to Kieran and asked, "Why did you help me?" Kieran's eyes grew distant, as if he was looking at something far away. "Because, a long time ago, someone helped me too. I was once like you, alone, lost. But a kind person gave me a new life. And now, I am doing the same for you. Arif felt his heart squeeze. Tears filled his eyes. He had spent his whole life believing that no one cared, that kindness was a lie. But Kiran had proved him wrong. Years passed. Arif grew into a strong, kind young man. He studied hard, worked hard, and one day, he became a teacher. He looked after Kiran, just as Kiran had looked after him. And then, one cold winter night, Kiran held Arif's hand and whispered, "My time has come, my son. But promise me one thing, help others, just as I helped you. Give someone a new life, just like you were given one." Tears rolled down Arif's face. "I promise, Baba." Kiran smiled, closed his eyes, and with that, he left this world. Arif mourned, but he did not forget his promise. Years later, on a rainy evening, Arif saw a small child sitting under an old bus stop, hugging his knees, just like he had once done. He walked up to him, held out a bun, and said, "Here, eat." The child looked at him with fear, but hunger won. "What is your name?" Arif asked gently. The child hesitated. I don't know." Arif smiled. "Then, I will call you." And just like that, a new life began. Life is a circle. A small act of kindness can change someone's world forever. So, my friend, if you ever get a chance to help someone, do it. You never know, you might be giving them a new life. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like and subscribe. Your support helps bring more beautiful and meaningful stories like this to life. Thank you for listening, and remember, kindness changes the world. Red Heart. Arif's journey didn't end there. In fact, it had only just begun. The small child he had found that rainy evening was named Rohan. He was scared, hungry, and had lost all hope, just like Arif had been years ago. But Arif knew exactly what to do. He took Rohan home, gave him food, a warm bed, and, most importantly, a name filled with love. Rohan was quiet at first. He didn't trust easily. The world had been cruel to him, and he had learned to expect nothing from people. But Arif didn't rush him. He gave him time, patience, and kindness, just like Kiran had given him. One night, as they sat by the fire, Rohan finally spoke. "Why are you helping me?" Arif smiled. "Because I was once like you. And someone helped me. Now, it's my turn to help you." Rohan looked down at his hands. "Do you think I can have a good life too?" Arif placed a gentle hand on his shoulder. "You don't just deserve a good life, Rohan. You deserve a beautiful one." That night, Rohan slept peacefully for the first time in years. Time passed, and Rohan slowly changed. He started to trust, to laugh, to dream. Arif sent him to school, encouraged him, and never let him feel alone. He taught him that life could be kind, that love was real. One day, when Rohan was older, he and Arif sat on a bench in the park, watching children play. "Do you ever miss him?" Rohan asked softly. Arif didn't have to ask who. He knew. His heart ached at the thought of Kiran, the man who had saved him, who had been his father in every way that mattered. Every day, Arif said with a sad smile. But he never really left. He lives in my kindness, in my choices, in the love I give to others. He lives in you too, Rohan. Rohan looked down, deep in thought. "Do you think I can do what you do one day?" he asked. Arif turned to him, his eyes warm with pride. "You already are." Rohan smiled, a new kind of light in his eyes, one that spoke of hope, of purpose, of love. Years later, the cycle continued. One stormy night, Rohan, now a young man, walked through the streets and saw a little girl sitting alone, shivering under a streetlight. She looked up at him with wide, frightened eyes. Rohan knelt down and held out his hand. "Are you hungry?" The girl nodded. "Come with me," he said gently. "You're not alone anymore." And just like that, a new life began again. This is the power of kindness. One small act, one moment of love can change generations. And now, my friend, I ask you, will you be part of this cycle? Will you be someone's Kiran, someone's Arif, someone's Rohan? Will you help someone when they have nothing? Because kindness does not end with one person. It is a chain, a story that never stops. If this story touched your heart, please like and subscribe. Your support helps bring more stories filled with hope, love, and life-changing moments. And remember, somewhere out there, someone needs you. Be the reason someone gets a new life. Red Heart.